Tonight in our series Helping Hands, we take you to the streets of downtown Miami as we examine the connection between the pandemic, hunger, and homelessness.
NBC6 reporter Stephanie Bertini spent time with the most vulnerable and those extending helping hands to the hungry who have become homeless.
Just a few months ago, he was working in retail. Now he's living on the streets.
When coronavirus started and people started laying people off left and right, now I have to jump on the bandwagon of filing for unemployment. And then that took too long to get rolling. So I actually left my apartment because I was scared that I wasn't going to be able to pay the rent and get evicted and have that on my credit.
He says when he was first laid off, this wasn't where he thought he'd end up.
You don't even think about that at first. You're like, okay, this next check I have to make ends meet, this how I have to cut this out. And then, okay, I can get groceries this week.
But now he's experiencing hunger, something he's never had to deal with before.
When your stomach is touching your back, it's hard because the only thing you can put in there to make you full is water.
It breaks my heart because these people have gotten to a place that this is what it's come to.
Juan Portela has come to this place before. He was homeless just a few years ago. Now he works with the homeless.
Trino, how you doing?
He knows the faces of those who regularly stay in the downtown core.
You hungry?
But in the face of the pandemic, new faces.
These are people that normally aren't homeless. They're people that have had apartments. Some have had homes, and now since they're not working, they're in foreclosure or their lease is up.
He grew up in Key Biscayne, played football at the University of Kentucky from 1978 to 1980. But a long battle with addiction ultimately brought Portela to the streets.
I lost my job at Michelin Tower Corporation. I lost my wife, my kids.
He turned his life around. Now he's committed to working with the Downtown Development Authority to help those he truly understands. The DDA particularly concerned about homeless numbers right now.
We are in an economic crisis. The pandemic has shown us that. I do think that there will be issues where we're going to see an increase in the numbers.
The DDA is working to ensure the resources for a potentially growing homeless population are robust. Executive Director Christina Crespi is especially optimistic about a feeding ordinance just passed by the city of Miami. That will require street feeding to be organized through a permit process and add resources for the homeless at feeding locations. It was in the works before the pandemic, but this is the perfect time for it to roll out, she says.
A good time to be able to establish a process and to give access to people that need food or resources.
The DDA provides masks and hand sanitizer to the homeless. There's a restroom set up at Bayfront Park. Juan Portela is one of several working to oversee that location, but he knows firsthand the most important resource for a homeless person.
A good meal.
That's why he thinks the new feeding ordinance is a good thing.
Because there's more people that can afford food and that are homeless.
It's a circumstance that those financially displaced by the pandemic like this man might have a hard time accepting.
It's depressing and disheartening, upsetting because you don't know what's going to happen the next day or where your next meal is going to come from.
In Miami, Stephanie Bertini, NBC6 News.